Do you have a bunch of scraps in your stash? In particular, strips like these? Hi crafters, Karen here from Karen's Crafting Company. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how this card up on screen by Terry Walker has inspired me to use strips. All of Terry's information is in the description box, so be sure to check her out. And remember to use the playlist to visit all the collaborators and see how they were inspired. Here are some supplies that I'll be using today. I have my Nocturne VersaFine Clair ink. I'm going to be using some glitter. And I have these strips that I had in my stash, and I thought it was time to put these to use. And as you can see, there is some foil on there, which then had me bring in this piece of glitter cardstock. I have my card front, which I already put some adhesive on the back, and I have my card base. For my dies today, I will be using this particular sprig from my Sprigs die set from scrapbook.com. I have my hexagon nesting dies from Hero Arts. And for my sentiment today, I will be using the You Are the Best from this leaf canopy set by Altenew. Now that I've shared with you my supplies that I'll be using, let's go ahead and get started. So I have this Sizzix sticky sheet that you see on my workspace, and I'm taking my card front and I'm going to place that on that sticky mat. It's going to help me just keep that card front in place, and I'm going to peel back that release paper and I'm going to start placing those strips on the card front. Now, there is no particular order of how these strips go. All I want to make sure is that there is a space between those strips. Now, I am trying to keep the spaces in between the strips even, and if they're not, that's okay. It will still work what I want to do. So you see that I have about a ½ inch off the card front, and that's okay because I'm glad that I have extra. That way I can always trim that off. So I finished putting the strips onto the card front. And then what I'll do is once those are on and attached, I will bring in my glitter. And I'll show you what I'll do with that next. Now, I'm not using all my strips, and that's perfectly fine. I'm just using what I had to cover the front of this card front. So I bring in a piece of paper towel. I also have a coffee filter, and then I will bring in my glitter. Now my glitter is extra fine. It is called champagne, but you know, champagne, gold, all looks the same to me. So I'm going to take some of that glitter and I'm going to sprinkle it onto the card front and have the sticky part of that adhesive sheet catch that glitter. So it will look like there are very thin glitter strips in between those ½ inch strips. So I pour the glitter on and then I tap any excess off, and then I flip the card around and I just get the rest of those areas. And there's the finished piece right there. So now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim off those excess pieces. But before I do that, my workspace did get had some glitter on it. So I'm just showing you this We Are Memories Keeper like vacuum, if you will. And it's great for glitter and embossing powder. So if you ever spill any of that on your work surface, this vacuum comes in handy and will really clean up your area really, really well. And then I always do follow through just with a wet wipe, just to make sure that I did get everything, and then I just dry it down with one of my microfiber cloths. So after I trimmed off those strips, now I'm going to bring in that glitter cardstock, and I'm going to now die cut these pieces out. So I'm going to make a hexagon frame. I'm going to cut out the sprigs, and then I also use some white cardstock to cut out that white for my sentiments. So I use the sentiment and I'm going to line that up on my white hexagon, And once I have that all lined up, I'm going to bring in my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink and get that stamped on there. And then once I have that stamped, now I'm going to place things on the card front where I want to put them. So I take my sprigs, and I am going to be using my Bearly Arts glue, and I just place that to the side. And then I'm going to take my hexagon frame and my sentiment piece and place that there on the bottom left corner. Typically when I'm working with intricate die pieces, I usually use adhesive sheets to make it easier for me to peel that off. I find it works a lot faster than using the glue. And of course, this time around, I forgot to use my adhesive sheets, but that's okay. The glue is coming in handy and it works just fine. Like I said before, the sheets just seem to make it go a little bit quicker. So once I have that glued, I put it in place, and then I'm going to do the same thing with my hexagon frame and my sentiment piece. So I get that on there, I place it where I want it to go, and I press it down, and now my sentiment. And I'll just place that inside that hexagon frame. Now what I want to do is I want this card front to pop off the card. So I'm going to bring in my foam tape, and I'm just going to add that to the back of the card front. So I layer that on there, and then I just cut everything down into pieces. And after that, then I'm just going to, remove the release papers and then add it to my card base. Now, the one thing I noticed as I'm doing this voiceover is I didn't burnish the blue pieces good enough. And you can see that I'm struggling a little bit trying to get those off. And that is why, is because I didn't really burnish it very well. I find that when I do burnish it well, they just come off super easy. So finally got it to work out. It was fine. And then I just, flip it over and I add it to the card base. And this is my finished inspired piece by Terry Walker. I hope that this piece will inspire you to give Terry Walker's piece a try and see how it has inspired you. And until my next video, friends, I hope your day is a crafty day. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all again real soon. Bye-bye.